You have no involvement in the Cinegro scandal?
Not that I know of.
Monica Conyers lied straight to our faces, and now prison time could be in her future, and she could only be at the beginning as the FBI investigates corruption at the top in Detroit. Joining us to break down the whole legal situation, of course, we first have Fox 2 legal analyst Charlie Langton and my radio partner from 97.1 The Ticket, Bill McAllister.
How are you, Jay?
Now, Bill, you are sitting with our legal analyst, Charlie Langton.
Well, see, it's funny you should say that because he's also 97.1's legal. We have him on with us quite often.
Charlie tends to be a legal analyst on every radio station.
I mean,
there's nothing exclusive about him.
Charlie gets around, and we love him for that.
Give him a mic, and he's ready to go.
I just love your guys' show. I think it's wonderful. You've got to tune in 97.1, right? That's it. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
All right.
Perfect stuff.
Let me say this.
Yeah,
you
where's
know,
the wallet? It's a bribe. There's a bribe there.
And this is an interesting thing, by the way. You know, we do this morning radio show on The Ticket, and you know, obviously the centerpiece of the radio show is sports. However, when something like Monica Conyers or the city council or the mayor is in the headlines, it becomes what everybody wants to talk about. And from the Shrek comment to the argument with the elementary school student and everything in between, callers gravitate to this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a passion for it from our listeners, but almost from a tabloid sort of point of view. Not because they're annoyed by it, but because it's almost entertainment.
And unfortunately, that's the Detroit city government has become fodder, much like tabloid fodder. Charlie, as we're looking at the legal end of this right now, Monica Conyers, she is walking around a free woman as of today.
As of today, she is, yeah. But I mean, this is really exciting stuff, you have to admit. I mean, I don't want to say, listen, Monica Conyers did something wrong. She went to open court and she said, I'm guilty. And so that's it. I mean, she's guilty. She's a convicted felon as we speak today. And the way I read the charter, she shouldn't even be there. But I tell you, the people are just, they're just glued to this. I mean, this is sport for a lot of people. Should it be? I mean, I don't want to see anybody go down. I don't want to see any bad stuff happen to Detroit. We've had plenty of that. But you have to take a look at that. I think there's a bigger picture here. We've got to clean up government in Detroit. And Monica, I think this was the plea bargain that she needed. She had to say, I'm guilty, let's move on. Good for her, but she should step down. That's the next thing, though.
Let me ask you this, Charlie, though. $6,000 doesn't seem like a ton of money for your career, essentially.
There's more. You know what? I agree with you. And I'll tell you what, if it was only $6,000, that would probably be her best defense. Only $6,000 for all this stuff? Hold it. I think there's a lot more. I don't think the feds would even get involved if it was only, I don't want to say that, they probably would get involved. But there's more to it, though. In fact, the pleadings, the paperwork that was just filed just the other day, not only mentions Cinegro, but it mentioned the General Retirement Board, for which Monica Conyers sits. Why is that important? Because on the General Retirement Board, that group, of which Monica's there, controls billions of dollars. Cinegro is only $1 billion. The pension board are billions of dollars. So there may very well be something not so right with the way that whole general pension board went down. And if that's the case, I think it's going to come out at sentencing. And I think and if there really is some wrongdoing, we're not done with Monica Conyers or perhaps other people as well. So stay tuned, as they say. There could be more.
Well, and there could be more involving, we're talking about the mayor's father, Bernard, and some other players in the Cinegro deal, in addition to other corruption charges not related to Cinegro, right?
Right. There's more there. I mean, Cinegro is one. We all know about it, and that's what we're talking about for the most part. But I think there's also one, again, that General Retirement Board. You got to watch that. That's something that kind of is out, a little bit off the radar. It's not real sexy. People don't know about that a lot. But I tell you, I'd watch that one. Then we talked about the jewelry issue. Remember the jewelry, the little pawn shop deal in Southfield? They wanted to move from Southfield to Detroit. Well, how do you do it? Apparently there's some payoffs. There was some allegations, a couple of stories last week where Monica Conyers may have received $40,000 worth of jewelry. Not proven. It's just an allegation. We can't believe everything we see on television or hear on 97.1, and you can't believe all that stuff. But there's more to it, though. No doubt about it.
You know, Bill, you mentioned on the radio program that
the Jay and Bill show.
That's right. Yeah. But it has
the Bill and Jay show.
Sometimes it is that it's kind of shocked you because she has impressive credentials.
Oh, a bachelor's degree in political science, a master's in public administration, a law degree, 16 years as a teacher in Detroit Public Schools.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
All right, well, yeah.
And she's really a rags to riches story.
Completely.
I mean, she pulled herself. She comes
She's
from
smart.
a family where there's been a lot of trouble with her family, her relatives, her
brother in
father.
particular.
Have had legal issues, and so for her to reach this level of success, married to a very powerful congressman, it's unfortunate.
I got a chance to talk to her a little bit, especially covering the Cobo Hall, that whole I say scandal. It's not really a scandal, but whether or not the all that legislation with regarding to Cobo Hall, and I actually got a chance to kind of pull her aside. We actually talked a little bit. I like Monica Conyers. I think she's a nice person. I think she's, you know, I'll probably get. People say, oh my gosh, how can you say that? She's a convicted felon. I think something happened there. And you know what? There's always 2 sides of a story. We're never going to get perhaps the whole side. But I think personally, I think Bill's right. I mean, she's got very good credentials. I think she works really hard. I think she does have the interest of the city of Detroit in mind. Even on the Cobo Hall deal, we can disagree on the merits, and a lot of people have.
Right.
But I really do think that she has the city, for the most part.
Yeah, but you can't say she had the city in mind when she took $6 grand to change the vote.
She's done.
Exactly.
I agree, for the most part. This one, and you know what? The problem is it only takes one, and this is a bribe. And I'll tell you what, I think the judge, if I was the judge, I would go very hard on her. An elected official, she's going to, of all the people, there's 3 people that have pled guilty. I think Monica's going to get some heavy-duty jail time, and she should.
Both the same question. I'll ask you perceptually and legally. Is her husband doing the right thing by being very quiet about this?
I think yes. Is he going to hitch? I mean, he's married to her. He almost seems non-existent as far as Detroit goes anyway. He's in D.C. You don't hear much from him anyway. I don't think he should hitch his wagon to her. I don't think he should say too much. I don't think, perceptually.
Yeah, how much does he want to risk his own political career trying to come to her defense?
Yeah, he's got to get reelected too. I mean, that's a political question. And, you know, I think Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, if we take a look at some of the other congressional people here, will there be some fallout with her? I think yes. John Conyers, he may weather this storm. He's been there long enough. He has a loyal constituency. The district that he's in is pretty safe. I'd be surprised. I think he may be challenged, but I don't think it's going to be serious. But as far as should he come out, he should say something. He came up with a statement. I think we'll hear a little bit more, but not politically. He'll be okay.
Charlie Langton, always nice to see you. Bill McAllister, I'll see you tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
It is tomorrow morning. On the ticket. Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Oh, thanks. All right. We'll be back.